So this is yet another story about dry January, and I'm sure that you are sick and tired of hearing about dry January. It's all over your social media feeds, but hear me out and don't swipe away yet. So this one is not actually about the drinking. It is about a principle around it and how you need to modify your thinking patterns because they are flawed in the first place. So just a bit of a backstory is when I was in the mental health clinic, or rather when I had my burnout breakdown, one of my favorite things to do was to drink. And it wasn't to drink to get plastered because I was depressed and I was feeling bad about myself. That's a side effect of the burnout. But the reason that I drank was just to get a little bit of a lift. The reason that alcohol helps with that is because it gives you a bit of a dopamine boost, and that's what you sort of need to kickstart things sometimes. And by enjoying at that time too many drinks, then it would help me get a little bit of a dopamine boost, and at least my personal life could be a little bit better. But obviously it's a trigger and it's a crutch and something that we shouldn't be relying on. So I made a conscious decision that, well, this year it happened over December period. I went a bit overboard, and in January I decided I'm going to stop, and probably just for health reasons, but it is extremely difficult for me, or it was extremely difficult to start, and normally it's very difficult for me to carry on with them. And the reason for that is because of that flawed thinking that I was speaking about, and that is finality thinking. So if you're starting this process, obviously the wording around it, dry January, your brain, if you are overloaded, is going to short circuit immediately because you are thinking about this mountain that you need to climb. It is a month that you have to be without alcohol. You've gotten used to it and how it makes you feel, and now because you have committed to it, you've got this 1 month where you have to be completely sober and you can't touch alcohol. So I apply that principle to most things in my life, and whenever I have a thought, it is a thought in finality. It's probably something to do with my wiring, but that is how I think. Whenever I'm busy with a project, I don't see the process that needs to happen to get there. All I see is where I am now at zero and where I need to be at perfection. So I only see those two parts, and everything else in between I don't see. So because I do that, then I get a lot of anxiety around any task that I'm going to be executing or any goal that I set for myself because of finality thinking. So what I've had to do, and it's through a lot of self-introspection, but a lot of reading as well, and one of the things that gets discussed around it is that you need to rather sort of take it step by step, and you just have to focus on the smallest incremental step until that final outcome is reached. So in this case, the example is the dry January, and instead of thinking about it as this entire month that you have to be sober, all you have to think about is just today. And then tomorrow you think about just today, and the next day after, the same principle. So if you can get through just today, then tomorrow you can also get through just today. And if you carry on ticking those just todays off, by the end of the 30 days, you would have done the month. And because you are only looking towards the end of just today, then those are the things that stop the anxiety, stop the overload, and stop open tabs from coming. So apply that to anything that you are taking on that is this big insurmountable task that your brain has told you that it is. Break it down into the smallest time increment that you can, or the smallest step forward that you can. And that's the way that you're going to achieve big things without thinking beginning at zero and end at finality.